Sat Shri Akal. Good evening, Akal viewers. Welcome to Manjeet Kaur's new health series about awareness of health in the community. Manjeet has for more than 20 years been providing Punjabi TV media services. Welcome, Manjeet.
Thank you so much. I must introduce my host and presenter as well, which is Felix. He is all the way from this end of Birmingham. And I need to thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
20 years appears a long time. It certainly has been a journey which migrates you through educating yourself, through the passion and drive that we both have now seen that we are on the same protocol of trying to promote a community awareness. Don't you think that if we both have brought ourselves into this journey of good health, if we never open this chapter to the public, we'll never leave something behind for them to feel that we have done justice to our community?
For me, Manjeet, it's an opportunity to serve, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity and hope we really give you some great valuable insights as we move through the series.
Guess what serve means in Punjabi? Means service, selfless service, which means seva. So thank you for your time. So folks, Felix is going to ask me questions in today's health show. A lot of will be in English. After 28 minutes, we'll be taking this journey with Felix. Then I'll be presenting the show, and Felix will be answering me all the questions that I have for him. So what are we discussing today?
Well, Manjeet, a topic very close to yours and my heart is staying close to nature. Let your food be your medicine.
Yes.
What does that mean for you?
Felix, Mother Earth has provided us everything: roots, plants, shrubs, leaves, and everything is with nature. Anything to do with medicine, where it went with the South Americans, the Mexicans, the Australian aubergines, you can see they did not have painkillers. We are not going to name any one painkiller, but they dealt with nature. They would pluck the leaves, grind them, make them into the paste, add them to a wound for fever, boil it for anything. What has happened to Western medicine? We've moved away. So everything is, let's get back close to nature. And this is where my Ayurveda remedies come in. You've seen my van.
Not only that, we enjoyed some fabulous food just literally before recording this show. We made some fabulous food courtesy of Manjeet.
It was fun. It was. I hope you enjoyed the coconut cake.
With chocolate.
With
it was enough
chocolate
to really give you a lift and energy.
Yes.
But all from wholesome ingredients.
Exactly.
And just to actually extend on that a little bit, what do you think of the importance of not having flour and sugar?
Gosh mighty, there is so much journey of flour, which is wheat flour, heavily sprayed, and there's a Roundup spray on wheat. And I think 70% of the population is gluten intolerant. That could be very minor symptoms, Felix, like bloatedness, passing wind, indigestion, skin conditions, tiredness. Just by giving up wheat or gluten-y stuff, there can be a whole change in your metabolic rate and your BMI, where you might be spending 60, 100 pounds in the gym. But trying not to eat the repetitive foods, by eating that food every day, 7 days a week, you will become sensitive to it. It then will resonate with as an allergy on skin, eyes, ears, nose, your mental well-being, and then becomes full-blown symptoms. These take a long time. You know, the human body can take so much nonsense before it starts packing up on you. Listen out to your body. I'm saying, folks, it's there to give you signals of all kinds. A minor headache could be you've not had water, you know. And that's where I then said, when you're asking me the question of nature, I said Ayurveda herbs have to come in. Why are people not having, other flours? We have so many other grains. So you had a chocolate cake, which was made from coconut flour, coconut oil, and coconut sugar. So, folks, running the show for the 2017, we are also doing a 100th cook show.
To bring it, I mean, just to echo what you were saying, I think is so important. Anytime you eat food, how you feel 2 hours after you've eaten it is so indicative of, was that meal good for you? We're all unique.
Yes.
So was it good for you? And in same experience, you know, if someone has a health condition, obviously they should, you know, consult a GP, but as general advice, we're seeing, you know, 50% of the population have some degree of intolerance to dairy,
Yes.
50% some intolerance to gluten, or even, as you say, even more, but on a continuum. So it could be from complete intolerance to I get discomfort,
Yes.
I don't lose the, you know, when
Excess weight,
when
yeah.
you use the Ayurveda system, which is about returning the body to balance, is something that's really, I so strongly believe in balance or homeostasis, your body naturally returns you
Yeah.
to balance. You effortlessly release weight.
It's so true that your body, you can mistreat it. I'm not saying mistreat it, but then there's always a recovery stage before you get to a total crash out of the organ, before the organ demises to illness or shut down, before you get to theater for removal of that organ, and before you start living without that organ. Some organs can be surgically removed, and they can say, oh, you don't need to have an appendix, or you can live without a spleen, or you can have one lung, or you can have a transplant. But you know, a human body, Felix, is meant to live for 140 years. We are not even clocking half of our ages this time. Looking at people from north and south of England, you can see a diverse change of how these people's health is. While the south are healthier, and going further up north from Leeds to Yorkshire and up comes in white bread and milk and so much of bad saturated fats.
Look, to echo what you're saying, you know, what we see is, if we look at disease as dis-ease, your body not in balance, what we see is, you know, your incidence of health or dis-ease increases considerably after sort of in your 40s. So you have this inclining curve because, for example, a gluten intolerance can be insidious and take 30 years to show.
From childhood.
So, you know, typically what you see is this upward trend, and then in your 40s, this is where you get the chronic incidences.
Yes.
The take-home message would be what you're doing today, every day you have a choice to step to vitality or step towards disease. And everything you put in your mouth is a step towards vitality, energy, joy, or a step towards disease.
Yes, so true, so true. Your well-being. I think we are the caretakers of our body. And
Great.
If we mistreat our body, you cannot blame a doctor. You cannot blame your family. Emotions do play a part in the choice of your food. So again, Felix being, he's already learned to say Sat Sri Akal. I think by the 5th show, we'll be asking him to say a lot more Punjabi words. But he is always promoting meditation and staying close to nature and yoga. All these things bring in cellular detoxification and increase oxygen. We are seriously deprived of oxygen.
Yes.
We are having more carbon dioxide, doing shallow breathing, and we are not having a good structure of new cell change and exchange of dead cells leaving the system and new cells being formed. And this is where the story of cancer and mutation of cells come in. So we've got so much, folks, to talk about, and also talking about 100th Cook Show, jehda ho raha hai on Akal channel very shortly, kind of mid-September. Stay tuned. Felix has tasted my food, and he's tasted the food also in previous 15 years ago.
Yes.
And you've never forgotten the food. And that is exactly the journey I've still followed. I have not diversified from my pathway of good food and nutrition. So look out for your allergies. Listen. I'm saying listen to your body.
Yes.
It's talking to you.
It's
But yeah, you're not listening to the signals. Could be a minor headache. Do you need to rush for a painkiller? Or do you need to just have a little head massage and go for a swift walk and take some fresh air?
so true. If we bring ourselves into balance, and 100%, I'm a big believer in daily meditation because it is about total holistic health, you know, mind, body, and spirit. But if you're bringing yourself into a meditative state, and particularly if you're doing either walking to create lymph drainage or yoga, or even better, you're increasing your rate of cellular turnover. And then you need to support that with wholesome food. So if we look at protein-containing foods, carbohydrate-containing foods, and fats, talk to us a bit about healthy fats, a source. I'm a strong believer in get your proteins, get your healthy fats, moderate your carbohydrate to be slightly healthier. I know you come from the same line of thought.
So many good healthy fats. Just if we don't want to get so technical in 9:40 p.m. show. We know you're all tired. We know this program will bring you a wealth of information in the series to come, and I hope that you'll embrace it and look at the number down below for advice off air. Call that number. We'll be at help, Felix and myself, to take your calls and give you further advice and appointments. But 369, every cell, every eyes, every vent that God has given us, eyes, ears, nose, skin, lungs, whether it is even the colon, you cannot excrete toxic waste if you don't have good essential fats. You're going to get dry fecal matter. We are so taken by fiber. Oh, I must have my fiber tablet because I've not excreted for 4 days. Sorry, not me, but a patient. But having 369, which is also Indian purified butter or ghee, that plays a big part. Then come in the good oils, naming, the olive oil, the rapeseed oil, the walnut oil, the sesame seed oil. There is so much, and why they're saying that the Mediterranean diet is so good and they seem to have a longer life, because they seem to have a better oil than what is marketed here in the Western world. We are not getting the kind of olive oil which is available in Spain and Italy. It's a huge difference in taste.
For sure, if we can stay to extra virgin olive oil and coconut is two of my favorite fats, but also nuts, almonds, cashews. There's just so many different forms of good fats, but your omega-3, 6 and 9 for sure are very, very important.
But chew. People are having nuts and not chewing them until that nut is not masticated by your 36 teeth or 34 or maybe 20 that you've got left, because mouth decay and tooth decay and tongue thrush is one of my other journeys, because I do look at eyes. I always look at the tongue. I look at the psychology of the person. How is he sitting? How is he looking? What is their daily movement of bowels? Once you have seen the whole story of that patient, you then know what to deal with, not for the symptoms that they've actually come with, for the symptoms that you're diagnosing was the first cause of the disease. So bowel movement, excretion, all these things cannot happen if you don't have good essential fats. I've got people who at the age of 45 are having cataract surgeries, come again. Other than it being a degenerative disease, or, how did the eyes get the cataract and how did that filter start shutting? You're seriously depriving yourself from good fats. Yeah. Every cell in our body needs good fats. We need the monosaturates, not the saturates. We need the polysaturates. But I think food industry is doing so much to confuse human beings. We are here just today to give you information. You need to go home and watch the show, think about it, chew on it literally, and then for off-air advice, keep calling on the number below. So 369, even your heart cannot function without good fats. And this is why they're saying Mediterranean people are living longer.
For sure, but it's the same of all indigenous diets. Mediterranean happens to be particularly well studied, but it's the same. And over time, if you look as traditional diets started, sometimes you can have a very healthy dish which still to this day is called the same thing.
Yes.
But the ingredients have switched.
Glorified it to the Western world.
Exactly. Yeah. So coconut is sometimes exchanged for carnation milk. You can have what started as a small naan has now become a giant naan.
Don't we know about it? And then again, obviously, mucous membranes. Every membrane of your body needs essential fats. People are suffering from hay fever. Their nasal passages are blocked or they're excreting mucus. Look at the wheat. Get rid of the dairy. Again, look at the foods. This is where I chew in and get out all the information from the patient in that 1 hour appointment to find out what is the main cause and factors. Once you've done that, you've then also send them home with the food they eat, the nutrition, not just the remedies, because until they don't change their lifestyle, they're going to come back with the symptoms to you and blame you for not changing or feeling better. So Asthma. In the Asian culture, 2 in 5 children are born with hay fever, asthma, or eczema, psoriasis. Mothers are depriving themselves prior to birth from 369 essential fats. They think by having vegetable oil or a corn oil, which is being ridden, in India, big time, it is consumed on such a high degree that we've forgotten about the Indian natural diet was purified butter, which is called ghee, folks. So that's the essential fats.
So obviously, in order to maximize a clean living diet, you're going to need to have an efficient functioning digestion and detoxification system. Mm-hmm. I know that you're a big believer in colonic irrigation.
Yes, practicing that for years. And I know until you do not cleanse a colon, until somebody is not shifting out 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, until you're not having your good greens, and I'm not talking about fiber. Again, the world is ridden and robbed of that one word, fiber and fiber pills. But are you even consuming enough water to have that fiber pill? You need to have about 3 liters of water, and that should be clean water. I'm not talking about chlorinated and fluorine water. So hydration and colon and bowel movement, that every 6 hours, if you have not, that system has not cleared within the 12 hours of having 6 to 12 hours, it certainly is a stagnated colon. We have a 31 feet of digestive tract. Mm-hmm. Just the length of this studio in Birmingham. And the network through which this food has to pass has to be a right choice. Otherwise, you're defeating the purpose from chewing, first of all. If you're rushed, you're stressed, you're not chewing well. Then swallowing, and then drinking water with meal, bite after bite. You're seriously dropping down your digestive enzymes. I can see the glow on Felix's face, because everything, sometimes you say, people who are in the same field can say, my God, I'm making sense, And then imagine if that food was not chewed. Do you have a food mixer in your stomach to mulch it further? No, thank you. God has given you these, teeth. And that's the strongest bone that does not even degenerate in 1,000 degrees when the body is cremated. You're still left with teeth to able to find who this person was who was murdered, who was left dead in the woods. Teeth do not disintegrate even with 1,000 degrees. So if you cannot use the hardest bone in a human body, holding the softest tissue, your gum is the softest tissue, you have defeated the purpose, because you have not created the juices and got the goodness of the enzymes and the minerals through that food. The more you chew, the more saliva you make. Yeah. And the saliva is the first and foremost cause or point of digestion. If the food is going to stay there for more than 24 hours and you're sitting there and removing pellets, I mean goat feces, for example, you seriously have a problem. And we'll talk about the fecal matter more. People will be mostly saying, hey, she's talking about poo. But do you know what? What we need, we need to get rid of. Why say, eh? You take your dogs out for a walk and make sure the dog is excreted, but maybe the person who's walking, who came to me, does not go for 4 days in a row, but she made sure her dog went out in my clinic garden and he pooed on my soil, and she said, oops, do you have a bag? But she doesn't open her bowels for 4 days. I think the dog needs to take her out for a walk.
Well, for me, it's quite simple. If we can remember what goes in comes out. So one ingestion should equal one movement.
Excretion, yes.
One in, one out.
Yes.
And I think I see it as a chimney.
Yes.
And so if we're not moving, simple tips that we can all do. Drink 2 or 3 liters of clean water every day. Fast 12 to 14 hours overnight. Start each meal with some protein, and take 5 hours between foods. And when you're eating food, try to really limit the ingestion of water with your food.
But sit down and eat, not food on the go.
Absolutely.
Your body does not resonate when you're moving and thinking you can scuffle that half a sandwich into 4 bites. You've done no justice to your stomach. And then you would be, the biggest culprit, Felix, comes in easy available food, which are the crisps and the different kinds of popcorns and the chocolates. This food on the go is seriously damaging us. We never used to have these kind of food. We had mangoes, sugar cane, corn on the cob on grill, and then raw food, carrot juice, getting back home. These were, I tasted my first crisp at the age of 12. These days, at 1 month or 1.2 months, the mother is just melting the crisps and pushing it down the kid's throat.
I think a lot of the health choices come down to being slightly prepared. So I do, as you do, a lot of traveling, and
I've come prepared today.
Yeah.
We did not starve ourselves. We had falafel, we had the avocado paste, we had the barley grain, and we had a chocolate coconut cake made last night, knowing that he's going to enjoy it. It was good. It's now got us going to run the show.
Fantastic, and I really appreciate it. But also, before you get into your car, if you're going on a long journey, make sure you have bottles of water. But also, if you want to pack on the go, there are convenient, healthful. You have to make healthy choices, but you can get protein shakes you can make on the go. You can get diverse green nutrients you can make on the go. You can carry some 90% chocolate, some nuts. So even if you stop in a motorway services, you don't have to necessarily eat the food in the services. And some of these choices are about not getting in a position where you're hungry and the only choices around you
are the bad choices.
Yeah.
Like I say, never go shopping on an empty stomach.
Absolutely.
You'll walk into the store and grab the first food that could be the donuts, 12 for a pound, but you will certainly become the shape of that donut in time to come. And this is why I think industry plays with the human mind, the psychology. You walk into an American store, Felix, you see this 12-inch cake, and you see this 24-stone woman, and she's just flicking and thinking, if I take this home, it's only $1, but she's going to mix it, get the flour, the sugar, the oven, but I might as well take the 12-inch cake, and that's going to add the pounds on calories. So I always say, go with a full stomach and think for yourself and your children and the future well-being. This story is not today. To get your organs to demise takes 30 to 40 years.
Yes.
And now it's getting younger by time. In Italy, I'm getting children as young as 20 with fatty livers.
Oh, yeah.
Fatty livers, too much cheese, too much mozzarella cheese, too much white flour. These are pure vegetarian children who are having full cream milk. But how are they getting fatty livers? It's so sad. Something that doesn't happen till the age of 80, folks. We are literally cutting our age by half. I'm saying the human body is, the way God has structured it, it's meant to clock in 140 years. So my and Felix information to folks of Akal channel across the world is only live and live healthy.
Just coming back to you, I mean, you were mentioning the importance of regular movements, absolutely, and we talked about one ingestion in, one movement out. We touched on colonic hydrotherapy and the importance of that. Can you just briefly tell us what is the function of a colon?
Wow. Such a journey. It could be a whole program. Are we going to do a whole program? One day shortly. A colon, the large, from the gut to the stomach is 12 inches. The food stays there for about 3 to 4 hours, 2 to 4 hours, depending if it's juices and the good greens, water and lemon would go quicker. And if people saying, oh, but by drinking water, I need to urinate. Sure, you need to urinate. You need to get rid of those dangerous salts that don't need to stick. Come to me for swollen ankles, but you're having 3 glasses of water a day. Sorry, the story starts back from water. So the food goes through the pylorus, enters the small intestine, which is 21 feet, and then the large colon, which is 6 feet. We need to go into a short break, and just we'll touch on colon, and we'll be taking Felix onto the podium then, talking about other nutrition after this little short break. Stay tuned.